We've been inspired by the Netflix series Bridgerton and the books of Jane Austen to create a series about life in Regency England. We'll be discovering what foods the upper and middle classes ate. Let's start with breakfast.
Breakfast was a relaxed, informal family meal eaten in the drawing room, usually between 9 and 10 a.m. The ladies would already be fully dressed and coiffured, and the gentlemen would have already been dealing with their business affairs.
Favourites included honey cake, plum cake, French bread and brioche. The bread was sometimes toasted and spread with butter. Popular spices used in morning cakes were caraway seeds, saffron and ground ginger. Tea and hot chocolate were favoured as morning drinks, although the Prince Regent and many of the dandy set were known to drink alcohol first thing.
Lunch or luncheon was a relatively new thing. Breakfast was being eaten earlier and dinner was being eaten later. It was around this time that sandwiches were first introduced, but they weren't sandwiches like we know them today. In the Regency period, they were very small triangles, eaten with a knife and fork. In addition to these were cold meats, cakes and fruit.
I think I'm being eaten for lunch over here.
Oh my goodness me!
Dinner was the most opulent and extravagant meal, particularly if there were guests. Everyone dressed for dinner, even if only the family were in attendance. Guests would be seated around a large table in the dining room, one of the most lavishly decorated rooms in the house.
A Regency dinner party was a lavish affair, consisting of several courses, with a multitude of dishes at each. The first course would be soup, which you would never refuse. Soup must be eaten from the side, not the point of the spoon. And, in eating it, one had to be careful not to make a noise by strongly inhaling the breath. This habit is excessively vulgar. One cannot eat too quietly.
Roasted meats would be served alongside savoury pies. There would also be the game course. In seaside towns there would almost certainly be a fish course, as fresh fish were abundant. A common dish was mackerel with fennel and mint.
Next, larger joints of meat like mutton and beef would make an appearance. The gentlemen of the party would serve themselves from the dishes in front of them and offer them to their neighbours.
Vegetables were also served at this point. They would be drowned in a rich butter sauce, as during this period butter was more expensive than meat and showed off the wealth of the host. Pickled vegetables were also popular.
There was a selection of desserts. Often these were displayed in a fashionable pyramid shape, especially fruits and marzipan. Various jellies, puddings, tarts and custards were also served.
At the end of the meal, ladies would retire to the drawing room to converse and occasionally to embroider, while gentlemen would enjoy their port in the dining room. After about an hour, they would all gather together to drink tea, chat and perhaps play some cards.
Supper was eaten as late as 10 or 11 p.m. at night. Returning from the opera or theatre by coach, people would need a nice hot drink or a light meal, such as soup, when they returned. Often a negus was made for people about 20 minutes before they were due to leave. It was made of calf's foot jelly, wine, spices, lemon and boiling water.
Yum!
This video was suggested by two of our YouTube friends. Dara from Magenta Otter Travels is an American Anglophile, an avid traveller who enjoys yummy food, cute critters, beautiful architecture and scenic views. Anita from Oma Far Away is from the Netherlands and also has roots in New Zealand. Her passions are food and travel, family and friends.
If you're enjoying the new series of Bridgerton and you're interested in learning more about life during the Regency period, why not request a topic for us to cover? We'll give you a shout out if your suggestion is chosen.